Hey everybody, it's AJ for Disney Food Blog, and today we are going to talk about how to beat the crowds in Disney World. And if it's just way too crowded when you're there, how to at least escape the crowds a little bit. Let's get started. First tip for beating those Disney World crowds, arrive early and stay late. So if you're there during a busy time, be sure to know the park hours and know which parks open first, know which parks have extra magic hours, and know that a lot of people like to sleep in during their vacation. So if you get there early at rope drop, you are going to be able to ride a few rides before everybody else fills out the park. And also in busier seasons, at least one park is going to stay open later than usual. So that time between the nighttime show or the fireworks and the actual closing of the park, that's going to be your best time in the evening because lots of folks are going to hightail it out of there after the fireworks and the lines are going to get shorter. And don't forget, if you get in line right at park close, you still will get to ride. So be sure to use that tip too. So arrive early, stay late. In terms of your food, bring some snacks or plan on snacking throughout the day. That way, you get to take advantage of all the lulls when people are actually eating. So you can plan your dining at off times. So earlier in the day for lunch or between lunch and dinner instead of having an actual lunch and an actual dinner, or just snack throughout the day so that you can keep going without having to stop and sit and have a meal, and then you can sort of take advantage of those lulls. This will also help you avoid those counter service lines, which can get insane when on crowded days. So right before park closing, to sort of avoid those crazy crowds that are all trying to leave the park at the same time, which is crazy, it's totally insane, then go ahead and do a ride or do some shopping or go and eat right before park closing. So when everybody is headed out of the parks after those fireworks, plan to do a quick ride, jump into line for a ride if the park isn't completely shut down. Go shopping because they actually leave the stores open for half an hour to an hour after the park closes, or head into a counter service location or book a table service restaurant right before the park closes, and that way you can be sort of eating or shopping while everyone else is crunched together trying to get out of the park. And again, as long as you're in line for a ride before the park closes, you'll be able to ride. So if you get in line for one of those more popular rides right at park closing, you'll be able to ride the ride and avoid the crowds of people leaving the park. Next tip, do extra magic hours. Definitely take advantage of extra magic hours if you are staying on property at a resort on property at Disney-owned resorts. This is only for people staying at Disney-owned resorts, and there are a few resorts now in Disney Springs that offer this as well. But the extra magic hours mean that a park is open for an hour extra in the morning or a few hours in the evening. The parks are going to be much less crowded then than they are during the day. So take advantage of those extra magic hours. Be sure to check them out while you're doing your planning. Definitely go at a less crowded time of the year. I know we give you this tip every single time, but it's definitely something to look for. Try to avoid those crunch times of the holidays and the summertime and spring break. If you can avoid those, you're well on your way to avoiding the most significant crowds in Disney World. Head to restrooms that are off the beaten path. Now, we're going to actually do a whole video on the best restrooms to use in Disney World. That's coming up. That was requested by one of our viewers. So we're actually working on that one right now. But there are a few restrooms that are right in the middle of everything. So those are always going to be crowded and they're always going to have lines. But there are some that are sort of off the beaten path that people don't even know are there. I know in Magic Kingdom over at Tomorrowland Terrace, if Tomorrowland Terrace is closed, they have restrooms that are often not too crowded. The Odyssey Center in Epcot has giant restrooms that aren't usually too crowded. So each park has their own lesser used restrooms that you want to check out. My Disney Experience, that app, has a restroom map. So you can sort of see where the most popular restrooms might be, meaning the ones kind of right on the main thoroughfares, but you can also check and see where there might be some off the beaten path restrooms to use as well. So definitely have your itinerary set. Do your planning before you go. This is going to help you avoid crowds because you're going to make sure that you're not in the same places that everybody else is in at the same time. Have your FastPasses set, your meal time set, know what you're going to do in between. Make sure, again, that you're not sitting down to have meals at the most popular times so that you can take advantage of those lower ride waits during those times. Know where you're going next before you get on a ride. So if you know you're going to go on Pirates of the Caribbean, you're going to get off. Where are you going next? Because those crowds getting off the rides can be really thick. You want to make sure your family knows we're headed here next so you're not kind of caught behind a crowd of people who don't know what they're doing. And definitely have a plan B in case there's thunderstorm or some sort of weather situation, or a ride breaks down or a ride closes down for some reason. Have a plan B, another option for the time frame that you're in. Now, if parades and fireworks are a priority for you, plan to save your spot ahead of time because those spots are going to get taken up really quickly. But if parades and fireworks are not a priority, or if you're in a park for a second day and you already saw the parades and the fireworks the first day, use those times to take advantage of reduced lines at the attractions. So everyone's going to be watching the fireworks, everyone's going to be watching the parades. So that means that those big star attractions are going to have fewer people in line for them. So take advantage of that. Definitely use FastPasses. If you're at a resort that offers early FastPass booking, go ahead and set your alarm for 60 days ahead of time and book those FastPasses. If you're at a resort that doesn't offer early FastPass booking, plan to book it 30 days ahead. And you can book 3 per day at one park. And so know the system though. So when you get to the park, you use up your 3 and you can book you can book more. So be aware of how FastPass works. Know which rides you want to FastPass ahead of time so that you get those rides, and know how to use the FastPass system when you're in the park and you've used up your rides so that you get to ride even more. So here's what you need to do when it's just too crowded. There's just too many people. Believe me, you can't even move in the parks. It's crazy. Here are some suggestions. Do a character meal. Make sure you get to meet a bunch of characters. You get food at the same time. You get a lot of stuff done all at once. You get to be in the AC. You get to kind of have your own table and sit down and stop being crushed by other humans. Definitely something to plan. If it's just too crowded, head over to a character meal, ideally in one of the hotels. Do a resort day. So if you know the parks are just going to be crazy and you're not going to have any fun there anyhow, stay at your resort for the day. There's usually lots of stuff to do at Disney resorts. And be sure to ask at the front desk for an activity sheet so you see exactly what kinds of things there are to do. This is a really good thing to do on a rainy day too, because there's usually lots of fun activities to do at your resort. Eat your meals outside of the parks. You know that the parks are going to be crowded. You know the restaurants in the parks are going to be crowded. So take advantage of those daytime lulls at the resorts to eat at some of the fantastic resort restaurants. And we've got lots of suggestions in our other videos, and we're going to be doing a few more resort tours very soon, so stay tuned. Speaking of resorts, you can resort hop. You can, on those really crowded days, use the buses, monorails, boats, your own car, and head to different resorts and check them out. If there are some you haven't stayed at yet, go to some, and you can always do the activities there as well. Even if you're not staying at that resort, ask at the front desk what the activities are. Wilderness Lodge has a great hidden Mickey hunt that you can do. Those are lots of fun. So find out what activities are at other resorts that you can take advantage of. And when everybody's in the parks, you can get a little breather and do some cool stuff at the resorts. Go around and look for hidden Mickeys. This is really fun. Like I said, Wilderness Lodge has a great hidden Mickey hunt, and all of the resorts have hidden Mickey hunts. So if you look for Steve Barrett's Hidden Mickey's Guide, it's a little yellow book. It's really, really fun. You can pick that up and look for tons of hidden Mickeys all around the resorts and other locations in the park. You can also spend a day over at Disney Springs or the Boardwalk. Disney Springs and the Boardwalk are going to get crowded, but probably not as crowded as the parks. So be sure to plan Disney Springs Day or head over to the Disney World Boardwalk on those super crowded holidays and things like that. And finally, watch your fireworks from outside the parks. You can actually see fireworks in the Magic Kingdom from the hotels around Seven Seas Lagoon, and you can see some of the Epcot fireworks from the Epcot resorts. So from Beach Club Boardwalk, etc., you can see the kind of tops of those fireworks. So try to take in a fireworks show from a resort, and then you're not kind of amidst the crush of the crowds. It's really a nice little breather, a nice experience to watch from another vantage point that's not quite so crowded. So there are a few tips to avoid the crowds, and if you can't avoid them, get away from them. I hope that helps. Please let us know in the comments what your favorite ways to avoid the crowds are. Give us your tips. We and our viewers benefit greatly from hearing your experiences, so let us know in the comments. Please give us a like and subscribe to our channel for other videos like this. If you subscribe, you'll be sure to know as soon as we put up a new video. Thanks for listening and thanks for watching. This is AJ for Disney Food Blog, and we'll see you real soon.